First Life. This is Grayson Hughes with Family First Life Agent Force. I have the privilege today of talking to y'all about the AIG Guaranteed Issue Whole Life product. Again, that's American General, GIWL. Most of y'all probably sell this product on a weekly, if not several times a month, due to certain health issues. So just to kind of get into it, face amounts for this product are $5,000 to $25,000. This is a final expense product. Ages are 50 to 85. So don't make the mistake of having a very unhealthy 40-something-year-old and jumping straight to AIG and then forgetting that they have to be 50 years old to get it, the Guaranteed Issue Whole Life product. So that's something I've done before, but again, the issue ages are 50 to 85, so it's non-medical. There's no health questions or labs or medical exams. The client cannot be turned down for pretty much any health reason. So it's quick processing. The app is super simple. It takes a whole 5 to 7 minutes to fill it out. They get a policy number on the spot. Now there's multiple payment options. They can either do an automatic bank draft. They take the Social Security Direct Express card or any type of debit or credit card. They have, different types of ways they can pay. And also they can do delayed billing or specify the specific date they want the premium to come out on. Obviously, sometimes, especially towards the end of the month, people with Social Security that get their check on a specific day, it's best to set it on that day for some people. So that's a good benefit of the product. Now, there's a few riders to this product. There's a chronic illness rider, which would return 100% of the premiums paid up to 25% of the face amount. No waiting period for that. And like most carriers, a doctor has to confirm that they can't do 2 out of the 6 activities of daily living, which are pretty much the same for every carrier as far as the activities of daily living. Now there's also a terminal illness benefit, which would be 50% of the death benefit within 24-month life expectancy or less, which is good because a lot of the carriers will only give you the terminal benefit with a 12-month life expectancy, but this one is actually 24 months. Now with these riders, there's some exceptions depending on the state. For example, California and New York and a few other states don't do these riders. So just check with your specific state before offering the product. You can offer the product, but not always the riders along with it. Now, a couple things about this product. The insured must be the owner, but the payer can be different from the insured. Okay, a Social Security number is required. They do not accept foreign nationals. That's another thing. And there is the free look period of 30 days. So another thing that you have to know about the GIWL product is they don't allow replacements or conversions into this product. So there's a question on the app about that. And if you click yes about a replacement or conversion, it will tell you automatically that you shouldn't proceed. Now, this is a graded death benefit. So the first 2 years, if the insured dies, then they would get 100% of the premiums returned to them plus 10% interest, or 110% of the premiums paid, you could say. After year 2, 2 years and 1 day, they would get the full face amount. Okay. The same with the accidental death. It's the full face amount if it's accidental. However, in the event of a suicide, just like with most products, the premiums would just be refunded. So, as you can see, it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Again, the app takes 5 minutes, and I'm just going to go over just when you would use this. Now, first, let me say this. If we didn't have a guaranteed issue product, I would have had to walk out of a lot of homes without getting them any type of coverage. So there's certain clients that don't qualify for anything else based on some serious health concerns. And anything is better than nothing. So I always tell the clients, obviously it's a win-win, because if they can't get qualified for anything else, but they die within the first 2 years, they're making 10% interest on their money, which really no other bank can give them. So they're going to make money either way, whether they die within the first 2 years or they get the full benefit afterwards. Okay. Now, when should you use this product? First, you need to study the underwriting for all the other products, okay, as well, because there's certain situations where I think agents get nervous, especially newer agents, and they jump straight to AIG because they know it's guaranteed acceptance. We do not want to put a client in a graded product unless we absolutely have to. There's certain situations where we could, for example, write Transamerica, which would accept, neuropathy, COPD at a standard rating. So there are some carriers that might give the client a shot at day one immediate level coverage. So that is way better than having to jump to AIG. Now, AIG's rates are pretty competitive. They're a very well-known company. It's kind of like John Hancock and Mutual of Omaha. Pretty much everyone knows American General, AIG. They've been around forever. So it's great to have that in our arsenal. And I always point that out, even if I know I'm not going that route, just so it can build trust with the client. At the beginning of the appointment, when I show them a couple different carriers that I work with, AIG is always one that I point out, even if I'm not going to use it. But again, when you would use this product is when you walk up and you see oxygen in use on the door. You ring the doorbell and they have a prescription oxygen tank, or they have some type of congestive heart failure or a serious heart issue. They just had a heart attack, anything serious with their heart, any type of cancer that's been very recent or current cancer, or just certain situations that you would go to other applications and they would just application after application not qualify based on the health questions. So it is very important that we have a product like this because, again, I've been in numerous homes where I wouldn't have been able to offer them anything. And it is true that AIG does not pay as well as the other carriers due to the fact that it's a guaranteed issue product. Typically, you're going to get paid around 50% comp, okay, which is not ideal, but we got to do what's best for the client if that's all they qualify for. And they also advance you 50% advance. So as you can see, the advance isn't all that good compared to the 75% advance that other carriers give us, and the comp is definitely not that good. But it's better to have AIG than have nothing in certain situations. So at the end of the day, the client gets covered, and most of the time they're not going to, statistically die within those first 2 years. So what I say to the client is this. When I know, based on the health questions and based on what they told me, that we're going to have to go the guaranteed issue route and there's really no other options I can give them. Well, let me say this first. If you're a new agent, always call your upline. It should be a rule for the first 3 months that you're in this business, before you write AIG, you always call your upline and you double check with them and you say, hey, this was what I was thinking, but is there anything else that I could write? And I would say, especially for newer agents, some of the times your upline is going to have a different solution that would be better, but it's always good to double check. Okay, so this is how I word it to the client. It's pretty simple. I say, hey, John, obviously you know that any type of insurance is based on age. It's based on health. Based on what you told me, you have congestive heart failure, or you're on oxygen right now, or you have, fill in the blank, whatever serious condition it is. And this is what the insurance companies are looking at, John. They want to make sure that you didn't go out yesterday and find out you had terminal cancer and you're going to die within a year or two. And the doctor gave you a short life expectancy and you're going to die. I would love to give day one coverage to everyone, but if the insurance companies just did that, none of them would be in business, because everyone who was about to die would go out and get $100,000 worth of coverage for their family, and then there would be no such thing as life insurance because none of them would be in business. Okay, so all they're making sure of is that you're not going to die very quickly, and you went out yesterday and found out you had a terminal illness. Okay, does that make sense? So here's how it works, John. In the first 2 years, if you do pass away, which is not very likely, but if you did, you're actually going to make money for your family. What's going to happen is they're going to return all of your money back to you, plus 10% interest. And I don't know about you, John, but I've never got 10% interest on any of my money, especially in the bank. So it's really a win-win for you. It's a no-brainer. You either make money for your family if you die within the first 2 years, which hopefully you don't, or if you live 2 years in 1 day, you're going to get the full benefit, the full death benefit, as if you were 18 years old again with zero medication, zero health issues. Does that make sense? And I would say 90% of the time, in my experience, they say, yes, that makes sense. Especially when you put it that way, that it's a win-win. And again, in parentheses, I'm only using this product when I absolutely have to. But some people are turned off by the 2-year waiting period. But I really play that down by explaining, hey, this is something necessary for the insurance companies. If not, they wouldn't be in business. And I say, hey, most likely, statistically, you're not going to die within the 2 years, and you would get that full benefit as if you were 18 with zero health problems, if you live 2 years in 1 day. So what we need to do is get that clock ticking now. There's been situations that maybe not with my clients, but with other colleagues, where people died in 1 year and 11 months or 1 year and 10 months. And if they had got that clock ticking just a little bit sooner, they would have had that benefit for their family, and there wouldn't have been a burden. So I'll say things like that, but it's very quick. I mean, they're either going to agree with you, or they're going to be completely turned off by the 2-year waiting period. And sometimes I'll ask them too, when I go into the appointment and I see that they do have some serious health conditions, which would only qualify for something like a guaranteed issue product like AIG. I'll ask them, hey, John, have you tried to get any type of final expense or life insurance in the past few years at all? And sometimes they'll say yes, and they've been declined several times. And they've been declined because they either tried to go fully underwritten, or another agent tried to get them day one coverage when it was just impossible. And they're frustrated at this point. And for you to be able to say, hey, look, I'm going to get you insurance today. You're going to have a policy number today, and we're going to get that 2-year clock ticking. Sometimes that's very comforting to them, because they've been declined already and they know they have health issues. So again, guys, I hope this helps. Again, don't jump straight to AIG. Whatever you do, if you're newer, call your manager, call your upline in the home. Double check with them before you write it, just because we never want to put a client in a 2-year waiting period if we don't have to. But it's definitely a blessing that we have a product like this, to where we're not captive to just one carrier, and we don't have to turn people down constantly with health issues. I'll say this, even though AIG doesn't pay as much commission as others, I have made a lot of money off of AIG, because it was sometimes when you walk into people's homes and it's all you can offer, and that's all they can get based on their health, that's what you got to do. So you just got to do what's best for the client at the end of the day. And if y'all got any questions, obviously you can reach out to me on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever. But again, this is Grayson Hughes, talking about the guaranteed issue whole life product with AIG. Keep it in your arsenal. Make sure that you have it ready. Use the e-app as well. I forgot to mention. It's super fast. You can use your computer, you can use your phone, you can use your e-app. All you do is you quote. It's all in one. The quoting tool shows them the quotes, and then you just continue to the application, and it takes a whole 5 minutes. So hope this helps, and God bless y'all.